Hi, this is Miss Slaybaugh. Today I'm going to show you how to change headings in Word so that you can organize your report in a logical, concise, and quick way. Now the first thing you have to know about headings is that headings in a report or in any document indicate importance. For example, your textbook has a title, and each chapter has a title, and those are very important sections of the book. Beyond that, when you open each chapter, it's broken down into further major points, and each of those major points is broken down even further. Every time you break down a chapter or a report into further sections, you label each section, and each section is called a heading. Each section label is called a heading. So if your first level heading, that's going to be your most important heading. So that would be like your chapter title. Your second level heading would be like a subject within that chapter, and a third level heading would be like an individual notation about how to do something within that section of that chapter. So, and you can use a student, you're used to scanning these things, you can quickly recognize the most important aspects and all the way down to what is, or I would think, are the least important aspects of a chapter. Those sections are very easy to mark if you use Word, and I strongly recommend that you do when you're writing your reports. If we were to imagine for a moment that this is a chapter title, Short Progress Report Organization, we could call this a first level heading. And we go up here to Word, and using the strip here in Word, we can just pick out what our Word already has in it for our first level headings. In this case, it's this font, Nyla. Now we'll do the same thing. This is going to be a second level heading. I scan this document and I see how it's organized. So we have the short progress report organization, and then we have beginning, and then we have middle, and then we have ending. So I'm assuming these are kind of like, subject sections in a chapter. So we'll mark these first. This will be a second level, and ending will be a second level. Now within each of those sections, we have another section. This will be a third level heading. So this preset is third level. Let's see, and here's another third level. And key points is another third level. So as a reader, you can look at this and you can just see at a glance, this is the most important thing. This is the title to this chapter, as it were. This is a major section, all of these, beginning, middle, and ending, major sections in this title, in this chapter. And then within that, we have introduction, finding, and key points, which are third level headings within each section. Now, let's imagine that we want to change any one of these. We can change them for an entire report. So if your report is 50 pages long, this is a very handy tool. We're going to select the title, the heading that we want to change. We can see Word picks this out as heading number 2. I'll right click in the heading number 2 box, and I can tell it to select all 3 instances. So it would go through the report and it would select every instance of a second level heading. Now I'm going to right click on it again, and I'm going to select modify. I can modify this heading. I can make it whatever font I want to. So let's make it this crazy font. And let's make it a little bit larger. I think we should unbold it. It doesn't read very easy. Now this is blue. Well, we can leave it blue. Let's see how this looks. So it kind of has a Middle Ages sort of look to it. Not bad. It looks really important. I guess if I wanted to go for a more formal look, I could go with something like this. It's not a font that one would use in business writing typically. Now I'll do the same thing with my third level headings. I can select one, go over here to the heading 3 box, select all 3, and then I can modify it, and I can change it from Century to Calibri. We'll leave everything else the same. That was made it quite a bit smaller. Each font is unique, Some are smaller than others. So just because you're using a Times New Roman 14 point doesn't mean that an Arial 14 point will be exactly the same. These font settings are okay, and I can leave them like this. They definitely show the hierarchy. This is the most important. Placement is part of each heading, so whether it's centered or left justified or right justified, or whether the text begins on the same line as the heading or immediately beneath it. All of this is part of the heading. So when you set one, you need to make sure that they are all set exactly the same, which is why using Word to help you with this is such a handy tool. So that is all I have for you today regarding headings. Thank you very much for listening.